Before I begin, I wanted to acknowledge the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. There is no place for political violence in the United States. I also want to recognize the shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado last week. Our heart goes out to those students impacted by this gun violence. There'll be more to say about both of these tragedies, but I want to shift now to what we have, to what we're here to discuss today. Democrats have been clear about where we stand on government funding from the beginning. We're ready to negotiate a bipartisan spending deal that protects Americans' health care. But we will not be complicit in passing any legislation that takes away health care from the American people. One of the Democrats' top priorities has long been to ensure every single American has access to high quality and affordable health care. That remains truer more than ever. At a time when Americans are facing a dual health care and affordability crisis, it's our responsibility as members of Congress to put our differences aside and to come together to bring down costs. This shouldn't be controversial. We've been hearing about the high costs, rising unemployment, and recession fears impacting Americans in every district. We cannot allow health care to be another thing that's out of reach. We have a chance to come together and to tackle these crises head on and to undo some of the damage within Republicans' big ugly law. Unless Congress acts, 15 million Americans will lose health care, and 24 million Americans who rely on the ACA could see their health insurance go up by 75%. In my district alone, nearly 400,000 people depend on Medicaid or receive a premium subsidy. Democrats are doing everything in our power to ensure the worst parts of the big ugly law don't become a reality for our constituents. That's why we'll continue to hold fast to our position and implore Republicans to abandon their go-it-alone approach. Introduce Vice Chair Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. The murder of Charlie Kirk was horrific, despicable, and unacceptable. Last week's killing of Mr. Kirk was also part of a broader trend of political violence in our country. Last month, Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in a politically motivated attack, and State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot and wounded. In April, the Pennsylvania governor's mansion was set on fire in an attempted assassination while Governor Josh Shapiro and his family were celebrating Passover. A few years ago, a plot was uncovered to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. We've also seen horrific political violence targeted toward President Trump, Speaker Pelosi and her husband, Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Gabby Giffords, and several other political leaders and judges in the last decade. While political disagreements are part of democracy, they are never, ever acceptable pretext for harming others. Political violence is never acceptable. In our caucus today, there was a lot of discussion about health care, and under the Republican policies and Trump's policies, healthcare costs are rising. Under the big, ugly law, we've got $500 billion set to be cut in Medicare. Millions of people will be thrown off Medicaid, and ACA premiums are set to rise. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, for example, if you are a couple, 60 years old, and you make over $85,000 a year, your premiums will rise over $1,500 a month. That's over $18,000 annually. In addition, people who are on employer-based health coverage, their premiums are also going to rise because guess what? When you don't cover people, they still get sick, they still go to the emergency room, and they still get treated, and then those costs get passed to people who have health insurance coverage. So we're asking Republicans and Donald Trump to reverse their policies that are increasing people's health care costs.
Questions? Maeve?
Thank you. House Republicans were talking this morning about a potential $32 million increase in member security. I was just wondering what you make of a possible plus-up in member security funding and what you would like to see in the wake of last week's events.
It's a topic that members are concerned about, without a doubt. We appreciate that Ranking Member Stile and Chairman Stile and Ranking Member Morelli came together and had a discussion about changes for the August work period from a security standpoint. We look forward to those conversations. We haven't seen the CR. I don't know what's in the bill. Details matter when it comes to that topic, but it's something that members care about. But look, that's one small aspect of it. Nobody should be fearful about going to work and carrying on their job, and that includes members of Congress like Ted and I. There are kids that are afraid to go to school because of gun violence as well. There are people who are losing health care and may not have health care next year or in 18 months as a result of policies that we've taken here under the dome. Those are things that are front of mind to House Democrats. That's what we're concerned about. That's what we're looking for in the language on the CR here. This has not been anything that we have discussed. It's not been anything that the Four Corners have discussed. This is a partisan CR that could potentially be dropped today. That's how we view it. But we're like everyone and like you, we look forward to reading it when it's made public. But as House Republicans showed last year, just because you post it and make it public doesn't make it the final product. Elon Musk changed that last December when that CR was posted. So we'll see what the final product looks like and what Republicans take to the House floor. Nick?
Are you confident that, whenever this comes up in the House, you guys and Senate Democrats are going to be on the same page in your positions on this bill?
Look, my job is Democratic Caucus Chair. My job is to work with the Democratic Caucus here in the House. I will tell you, we've been in meetings with our Senate counterparts, and I think everybody understands the importance of the moment that we're in and the uncertainty that the big ugly law has created on exacerbating this healthcare crisis that we have talked about. This is something that the American public are living in, the affordability crisis now, and the healthcare crisis will continue to come. Premiums will increase. Healthcare will be more inaccessible for so many people. Rural healthcare clinics are closing. In Minnesota and Virginia, clinics have announced that they are closing already just based on the prospect of what is ahead when it comes to Medicaid. Those are the things that we're concerned about. Those are the things House Democrats care about. And I'm confident that our Senate counterparts feel the same way. Okay. Michael, then Chad.
You said in your remarks, Democrats have been clear about where we stand on government funding. Republicans say the same thing. They say they've been clear about where they stand, and they don't believe that these ACA premium tax credits should be a part of the CR. Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune have both said that they're willing to have this conversation in November as we get closer to the deadline. I'm curious how you square the Democrats' position, saying you're clear on where you are with government funding, with the Republican position of they don't think that this issue should be attached to a CR, and they think that it's something that should be negotiated and discussed later.
Michael, they are in control. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. Republicans control it. It is on them to put a plan that funds government to the table. They have chosen not to engage Democrats. So my assumption is that they have the plan and they have something that has the votes. I don't know why you wouldn't engage when you need a bipartisan solution, why you wouldn't engage with the other side, why the president still hasn't met with the four legislative leaders, why the four legislative leaders have not addressed this issue, and Democrats and Leader Jeffries' attempts to try to meet with Republicans have not happened. That isn't it. It's not on us. They clearly must have a strategy or a plan because this is on them. If they don't want to address the impending healthcare crisis, they can explain that. But they control the levers of government. It's on them to put forward a plan that funds that government.
So Chairman Aguilar is absolutely right. Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. And if they want to decimate healthcare, well, they have the right to do that as a majority party. They just have to be able to pass their laws, their bills into law as a majority party. If they can't do that, then they've got to present bills that I would vote for. And if they're not going to do that, I'm not going to vote for it. It's pretty simple, right? But the reason that we're fighting for health care as Democrats is because these are life and death issues. If you can't afford medication for your disease, if you can't pay for health care that's harming one of your family members, it could affect life and death issues. It could harm people. And it's even more than that. As Chairman Aguilar said, you've got hospitals shutting down. You have massive cuts to treatment for people who are in cancer trials. You have research of cancer being cut. Like, why would Republicans do that? And that's why Republicans need to reverse course and why Democrats are fighting so hard on health care issue.
Chad?
Good morning, thank you. Should Democratic leaders, and for that matter, Republican leaders, be talking individually to some of their members who say intemperate things in these times of volatility? Ilhan Omar said some things about Charlie Kirk. There's an effort to censure her now. Should there be these conversations on both sides of the aisle? Both sides have some of these members who say these intemperate things, and that doesn't contribute to lowering the temperature.
Every leader has an obligation to lower the temperature right now. And every leader has an obligation to tell our members to lower the temperature down. There is no place for political violence within our community. And it's on us to ensure that that happens. I disagreed with the retweet of one of our colleagues. I disagree with how some of our Republican counterparts are talking about this. Nancy Mace and Derek Van Orden are not doing their part to lower the temperature down, and Speaker Johnson needs to address that. But I would also tell you that Vice President Vance and the President are not doing their part in lowering the temperature. They are blaming Democratic organizations. They're blaming Democrats for this violence, and I think that there's no place for that within our sphere. They should be doing everything they can to bring people together rather than creating wedges. But we saw this the day of the shooting. The president started talking about this without any proof or facts on who the shooter was or what they believed, blaming Democrats. So that's an unfortunate part of where our discourse is. But every leader, if they're a true leader, needs to do what they can to lower the volume and lower the temperature down.
And then when Mace introduces a resolution to censure Omar, what does that do for the temperature? What does that do?
None of it's helpful. None of it's helpful. That's the truth.
A recent YouGov poll came out, I think, around yesterday, and it came out saying that 26% of liberals under the age of 45 say that political violence can sometimes be justified. This is compared to conservatives, who said the exact opposite at around 4%. Would you say that your party base is having a problem with your youth as far as how they view violence?
No, I think our communities have seen violence, and I think all of it is terrible, whether it's school shooting or whether it's political violence. None of it is helpful. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or a young person. I understand young people are more sensitive to the social media environment that they are in, and that is not helpful to the moment that we're in. But it's on all of us to condemn these acts of political terror, to do everything we can to lower the temperature, to tell our kids and the next generation and our community members that there is no place for this. I'm unfamiliar with the specifics of the poll. And it doesn't matter. My position is unchanged. Everybody, no matter your political affiliation, has an obligation to denounce political violence. It has no place in our public discourse.
So would you support including new sanctions on Russia in the CR?
Look, I haven't seen the CR. I don't know what's in the CR. I'll evaluate it and read it when I see it. the importance of protecting our national security isn't lost on us. If Republicans were serious about protecting our national security, they can put those bills on the floor in a standalone process. If that's what they want, then that's what we will. That's what will happen. We have not seen any of those bills come before the House as a standalone process, but the Speaker could do that pretty quickly if he wanted to.
Question. Russia has invaded the airspace of NATO countries like Poland. Russia continues to kill civilians in Ukraine. Russia is the aggressor in the Ukraine conflict. I agree with Republicans who have introduced legislation to increase sanctions on Russia. We should absolutely increase sanctions on Russia.
Thank you, Congressman. Speaker Johnson just confirmed upstairs in the CR, they're not touching the ACA credits, they're not touching Medicaid, they're not including any anti-impoundment language. Is it time to start whipping against this bill, even though it's not officially out yet? And if you do, can you guarantee that all Democrats are going to vote against it?
We can't. Whip decisions are made by Whip Clark. She's the best at what she does. She's the best in the business. We'll follow her lead. But I think if she was here, she would tell you she can't whip on something that doesn't exist. When the bill text is released, we will work with our ranking members. We will read the text itself. We will have conversations with our colleagues, and then we'll come to a decision what's best for the Democratic caucus.
Thank you, Congressman. Democrats have come under criticism for labeling Republicans as fascists and Nazis following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, with some arguing that such inflammatory rhetoric is spurring political violence. Where do you stand on this issue? For example, should Democrats such as Jasmine Crockett stop referring to the president as a wannabe Hitler?
What other Democrats? You said fascists and what? What was your?
Fascists and Nazis, just common inflammatory political
Okay,
rhetoric.
common, but you're not attributing it to any Democrat or any member of the Democratic caucus. I'm just trying to understand the question.
Jasmine Crockett in that example.
Well, Jasmine Crockett didn't say fascist and Nazis, believe. Okay. Look, I mean, my answer is, all of us have to dial down the rhetoric here. You didn't mention any of our Republican colleagues and some of the things that they have said about the left and about Democrats specifically. But I'm sure maybe that was just the second part of your question, or maybe that's something you're only asking Republicans. But all of us have an obligation to reduce the tensions here. I understand the moment that we're in. Vice Chair and I were sworn in the same day in 2015. We've been here 10 years. He gave a litany of the political violence that we've seen. I'd also call your attention, over 10 years ago, Dylan Roof killed 9 innocent people in a church. Democrats, and his sole intent was to start a race war, is what he said. Democrats didn't blame Republicans. They didn't try to go after Republican organizations when that came to light. We did everything we could to bring people together. President Obama, legislative leaders denounced all that. Legislative leaders on every side of this, just like we're seeing now. Legislative leaders have denounced this political violence. There's no place for it.
Thanks, Chairman. We have a Federal Reserve decision tomorrow. The president was asked today about whether the Fed should be independent. He said, I think they should listen to smart people like me. I think I have a better instinct than him, referring to Jay Powell. Just wanted to get your reaction to that statement and what you're expecting tomorrow from the Federal Reserve meeting.
The quote itself is just laughable. Look, the Federal Reserve Board, despite what this president says, is independent. They will make a decision that governs the monetary policies of the country. My expectation is that they will follow the data and make the best decision. It doesn't ever seem to be enough for this president, but I trust that they'll do work based on actual data and what's in the best interest of the economy and the country.
The jobs numbers are horrible. So the jobs report that came out last month was completely under expectations, and it was so bad that the president felt compelled to fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Standards to distract from how bad that report was. And then the jobs report that came out this month was also horrible. So we have a significantly weakening jobs market, and the New York Fed survey recently came out saying that in the history of their survey is now the lowest ever in terms of workers thinking they can get a job. That's one reason you might lower interest rates, is because the economy is tanking. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the Fed lowers interest rates, because under Donald Trump Republican policies, this economy is crushing Americans and tanking.
There's a proposed $32 million for increased district security in the CR, most likely. Should Democrats take advantage of that, or what's your opinion on that program?
Every Democrat should take advantage of the security opportunities that the Sergeant at Arms lays out. Not every district, not every member can. There are unique circumstances in which some members can avail themselves of more of the resources. I won't get into those specifics, but we're working with our members. We're working with Ranking Member Morelli, the Sergeant at Arms, and the U.S. Capitol Police to make sure that every member can do their job in a safe and secure way. We need to be able to serve our constituents at every opportunity, and that means we have to utilize these resources. But specific to the CR, you might have been late when class started, but Democrats, we have to see the CR, we got to see what's in it, we have to see what programs are specifically cited. I understand that the executive feels that the executive and the Supreme Court need dramatic plus-ups in security, so I'm interested to see in what that balance is and what that looks like for the United States Congress as a co-equal branch of government. Last question, go ahead.
The president says the U.S. has now struck 3 drug votes. Do you think he needs Congress's authority to conduct those strikes?
Yes, I think the president needs to make the case to the American public that striking boats is in the national security interest of the United States. Typically, in Democratic and Republican administrations, that is what has happened, is you share detail, you share intelligence about what the mission that you carried out, why it was in the best interest of the country. This president has chosen not to do that. And unfortunately, when this president says, trust me, believe me, this was in the best interest, it's pretty hard for us to take that at face value. So yes, there needs to be oversight. Yes, he needs to share with Congress. And yes, I have concerns about future missions. Thank you.
Thank you.